Hello guys, welcome back to another polling videos where we will be looking at polls from every state. So we have Democrat Kamala Harris and Republican Donald Trump. We will be looking at all the polls from each and every state. And yeah, let's start. So election day it's going to be tomorrow. We will find out who will win the election. But right now, let's look at polls from every state. First, let's fill out the solid states for both candidates. So for Kamala Harris, she wins Washington, Oregon, and California on the West Coast, Colorado and Illinois on the Central Coast. Then she also wins New York, Vermont, Connecticut, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Delaware, Maryland, and the District of Columbia, and as well as Hawaii, raising her total to 190 votes. We will also add Maine's first congressional district. Now for Donald Trump, the Republican, he safely wins Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, Montana, and South Dakota, Nebraska at large, except for its second district, Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Indiana. Now we will be looking at likely states. Now all of the other states, they might play more of a key role. Donald Trump only has 122 electoral votes for now, but he will most likely gain more. So let's look at the polls in Alaska. Trump leads Kamala Harris by only 10 points. So we will be placing Alaska as a likely red state. Just to keep in mind, if a candidate's leading by 2 percentage points or less, the state would be considered a tilt state. If a candidate is leading by 3 to 7 percentage points, the state would be a lean state. If a candidate's leading by 7 to 10 percentage points, the state would be considered a likely state. And if a candidate is leading by 11 or percentage points or more, the state would be considered a safe state. Now, we will also let's look at the polls in Texas. So in Texas, Trump is leading by 11 points by the latest poll, and on average, he's leading by 7.6 points. So I think we will just stick to the fact that he is leading by a likely margin. Although one poll does state that he's leading by 11 points, I think he will win Texas like how he did with Hillary Clinton. So we will just keep Texas as a likely state because still 11 is kind of on the borderline to a likely state. To be a safe state, my bad. And another state we will be looking at is Florida. It used to be a battleground in previous elections, but now it's kind of set for Trump. So he is leading by like a narrow margin, 6.6. I mean, the recent poll shows him leading by only 7 points. So it's really between lean and likely. I mean, although I could technically put it as a likely state. I'd say this bowl is more recent, so I might just keep it as a likely state. And Donald Trump is underestimated in the state of Florida as well. So we will keep Florida as a likely Republican state on our map. Then let's head to Iowa and then Ohio. Trump leads by 8 points in Iowa. And in Ohio, he leads by 8 points as well. Or even 9 points. And these states do tend to vote similarly. So, yeah. And finally, we will be looking at New Mexico. Where Harris is actually leading pretty poorly by 5 points. So we'll keep New Mexico as a lean blue state on our map. And then let's look at Nebraska's 2nd district. Where Harris is leading pretty well. 8 points. So yeah. Yeah, likely blue state. Now let's look at, now these states can come into play in this election. So let's first look at Maine. It's like kind of a secondary battleground. So in average, in Maine at large, it's most likely going to be likely blue. So, and in the 2nd district, Trump's only leading by 4 points. So, we'll give Trump the district by lean margin, and we'll give Maine, make it a likely blue state. So, now as you can see, Kamala Harris is losing now. Now let's look at New Hampshire, which is like a left-leaning secondary battleground state. So Harris in this right now is leading by like 28 points. I think this is significantly overestimating Democrats. So I believe in this poll surveyed by the University of New Hampshire. So and also it's saying it's a 4.9 lead. That poll is just way off, so we will not be using that one whatsoever. So New Hampshire is a lean blue state. And finally, let's look at let's look at Virginia, another secondary battleground state. So Harris is leading pretty well by a lean margin. We'll give her the state as it's a lean state. Now let's look at Minnesota. So also right now she's leading pretty poorly. But overall the average says she's leading by 6 points. So I'm gonna give Harris the state of Minnesota by a lean margin. As also it's her running mate state, so yeah. Now the states that are not colored are the battleground states. So the colors they use the states still in gray. They're all battleground states. One second, I have to test something. Okay, yeah. All works fine. So, yeah. So now let's look and the least significant battleground states to the more significant ones. So let's first go to North Carolina, a right-leaning battleground state. Trump is leading relatively well in North Carolina. He might either win this by a lean or tilt margin. I'll just give him the state and make it a tilt Republican state. Then now let's look at Arizona. Another right-leaning competitive state. Trump's performing slightly better. I'm going to give Trump the state by a lean margin. Now let's move on to Georgia, where Trump is also leading pretty well by tilt margin. Now let's look at Wisconsin. The Rust Belt's one of the most competitive areas, if not the most competitive area in this election. And there are 3 states, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Right now it's saying that Harris is leading by 1 point, but it's really slim. And also, it's generally the most conservative. So far, I'd say maybe this poll is more accurate, because only this poll said it's like Harris is leading, and that's a bit earlier. I just say Trump might win Wisconsin, but because just how the polls underestimate Republicans. So, yeah. We will give Trump Wisconsin. And also, unless Harris wins all 3 of these battleground states, she will get exactly 270 votes. And then if Trump wins Nevada, he'll get 268. Even if he wins all the Sun Belts, Harris can basically only count on the Rust Belt and maybe Nevada. So for now, Trump will most likely win the election. But let's look at the polls at other states. So let's look at Michigan, the most blue of them all. So right now, Harris is leading by 1 point. Although Trump's polls are saying it's a 2-point lead. But I feel like maybe Harris may have a better chance. Actually, I think maybe Trump might have an edge in Michigan right now. Really don't know. So yeah. And then let's look at Nevada, where Trump is narrowly leading, although the recent polls show that Trump's leading by a heavy margin. Yeah. So I think this polling side might be overestimating Republicans, but regardless, we will give Trump Nevada by a tilt margin. Then finally, the most crucial state, Pennsylvania, where Harris has a narrow lead, but like all the other polls show that maybe she'll lose Pennsylvania. So we will give Pennsylvania to Donald Trump. As you can see here, Trump wins all of the battleground states, so he will be winning the 2024 election according to my prediction. Of course, polls sometimes get it wrong, like how they messed up in 2016. And even though Biden was won and he was projected to win, Trump did a good job by carrying out a lot of crucial states. But I think Trump will most likely win the election, as he is the underdog in all of the elections he's served in. So thank you guys a lot for watching. Like, subscribe, share, and have a good day.